Gaddafi humanitarian and infrastructure projects to buying expensive gifts and building monuments dedicated to African leaders. Focusing on getting the poorest and most fragile states like Chad, Central African Republic and Niger to buy into his ideas and broaden his popularity. If he goes, the African Union will be seriously out of pocket. The organization released this statement on the crisis.
The AU condemns the disproportionate use of force against civilians and deeply deplores the many human lives lost so far.
If Gaddafi does go, will he be missed? Unlikely here in Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, where the Libyan leader recently called for the country to be broken up in order to quell religious violence, leading many Nigerians to dismiss him as mad.
There have been many inconsistencies in how Colonel Gaddafi has positioned the identity of Libya, either whether it's an Arab Islamic country or whether it's a black African country. And I think what he's tended to do is to play the game of a political chameleon, taking on a different shade depending on what is actually supportive of his own objectives, not necessarily in support of Africa or the Arab states.
While he may not be missed, Colonel Gaddafi is one of the last African leaders to remember a continent largely ruled by Europeans. The famous winds of change brought that chapter to a close. And whatever the outcome of this crisis, Gaddafi's time as an influential figure in Africa has almost certainly closed as well. Yvonne Dege, AlJazeera, Abuja, Nigeria.
Joe Gajarowska is here with all the sport.
Yes, thank you very much, Imran. Several cricket fans in India have been left injured after clashing with police as they lined up to buy tickets for India's World Cup match against England. Thousands of fans had camped overnight outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore in the hope of buying a ticket for Sunday's high-profile game. But when the public allocation of between 7,000 and 8,000 tickets had all gone by late morning, the crowds vented their frustration against police, who hit back with bamboo sticks. Well, some fans have questioned why so few tickets were available to the public in a stadium which seats up to 50,000 fans. The Cricket World Cup could finally be about to produce something resembling a close contest. In New Delhi, South Africa are taking on West Indies in their group opener. The build-up to this match has been dominated by speculation about the state of the playing surface, as Andy Richardson reports.
The cricket fans of New Delhi have had to wait a long time for a big international game to come to their city. It was December 2009 when a one-dayer here between India and Sri Lanka had to be abandoned because the wicket was deemed dangerous and unplayable. The venue subsequently banned from hosting international games. Only now for this World Cup game between South Africa and the West Indies has that ban been lifted. So I'll be interested to see just how the wicket plays for the duration of this tournament. South Africa, of course, have never won this world title. They've always found new and interesting ways of losing tight games. That a habit, of course, they're desperate to break here at this World Cup. And for the West Indies, well, long gone are the days when they were the dominant force in world cricket. They're now ranked number 9 in the world, below even Bangladesh. But they do have the players capable of producing a shock. And you do get the feeling this World Cup needs a good tight game to really get it going.
Well, in that match, South Africa won the toss and have put the West Indies into bat. It looked like a good decision as Windies captain Chris Gayle was caught off just the third ball. They are now 120 for 4 of 26 overs. Well, on Wednesday, Pakistan's cricketers made an excellent start to the tournament against Kenya. They made 317 for 7 from their 50 overs. Umar Akmal top scoring with 71 of 52 balls. In reply, Kenya were bundled out for just 112. Captain Shahid Afridi was the star with the ball when he took 5 wickets. Pakistan winning by 205 runs, but there's no doubt they will face a tougher task in their next match against Sri Lanka. On to football now, and an upset in the Champions League as title holders Inter Milan were beaten by Bayern Munich in their last 16 match. In what was a repeat of last year's final in which Bayern lost, it was the Germans that grabbed the goal in the last minute of normal time. Inter's keeper Julio Cesar couldn't hold on to Ian Robben's shot, and German striker Mario Gomez was on hand to poke the ball into the net. Advantage Bayern ahead of the return fixture on the 15th of March. And in the other match on Wednesday, Manchester United manager Alex Ferguson gave an honest assessment of his side's 0-0 draw at Marseille, saying that nothing happened. The Reds missed the chance to score a valuable away goal at the Stade Velodrome. It leaves the tie finally poised for the second leg at Old Trafford in 3 weeks. There was one game in the Europa League on Wednesday. Spanish side Sevilla were away to Portuguese club Porto and were trailing 2-1 from the first leg. Former Porto striker Luis Fabiano scored the only goal of the game for the visitors in the 71st minute. Sevilla couldn't, however, grab a vital second, and despite winning the match, they lost it. They lost the tie on away goals. In Italy, Roma have made a winning start under new coach Vincenzo Montella. They beat Bologna 1-0. Montella has taken over until the end of the season after Claudio Ranieri's resignation following 4 straight defeats. And it was Daniele De Rossi who gave him the perfect start, firing home just before the break to send Roma up to 6th in the league. On to tennis, and just days after returning to the #1 ranking, Caroline Wozniacki has reached the quarterfinals of the Qatar Ladies Open. Wozniacki, who won in Dubai on Sunday, showed no signs of slowing down after a 2-day rest. She gave 2006 champion Nadia Petrova a thorough workout, but came out on top, winning 6-3, 6-2 in a commanding display. She'll play Flavia Pennetta later. Tiger Woods' dry spell continues as the world #3 has now gone 15 months without a win. And on Wednesday, he was knocked out of the opening round of the WBC Accenture match play in Arizona. Playing against Thomas Bjorn, Woods was taken to an extra hole by the Dane. But on the 19th, he hit his drive into the desert and just couldn't recover, losing by a single hole. Well, defending champion Ian Poulter was also knocked out by Stuart Sink on the first extra hole. But while #1 Lee Westwood, Martin Keimer, Phil Mickelson and Graham McDowell are all through to round 2. And that is the sport for now. Imran.
Thanks for that, Joe. Well, we'll continue to track the fast-moving events in Libya right here on Al Jazeera. Still ahead, we'll hear from our reporters in the region on the exodus of thousands of people from the embattled country. We've got reporters on the borders with Egypt as well as Tunisia. Stay with us.
The first Green Building Solutions Conference and Exhibition, Doha 2011. A unique chance to explore opportunities from upcoming sustainable developments in Qatar. Come and join us.
Unpopular with some at home, untested overseas. The first year has not been easy for David Cameron and his coalition government. In conjunction with U2, Al Jazeera asks your questions to the British Prime Minister. World View, an interview with David Cameron at this time on Al Jazeera.
It's 11 GMT. You're watching Al Jazeera. I'm Imran Garda, and these are the top stories. Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi appears to be losing hold of parts of Libya. Protesters are reported to have taken control of towns as far west as Misrata, which is around 120 kilometers from the capital Tripoli.